Take Paws has been made possible by support from the following Community Foundation of Broward funds. And by Broward County Animal Care and Adoption, where you can adopt a new best friend for life. You know, it really doesn't matter where you live, whether you're in a tropical climate, moderate, cold, or if you live in the middle of the desert. Wherever you live, disaster can strike. When it comes to prediction, we're getting better and better at knowing what might be coming our way. Storms, tornadoes, floods, you name it. We're even getting pretty good at preparing ourselves and our homes for potential disasters. But sometimes people forget to make arrangements for every member of the family. It's important to prepare for taking care of pets as well as people on the off chance a disaster strikes. Preparing just a few essential things ahead of time will give you added assurance in case of a real disaster.
Preparing for a disaster of any kind is extremely important. Reason being, you have to prepare your family and your home, number one. Obviously, that's a priority. But if you're a pet owner, whether you have a little pet or a big pet, you need to give some thought to how you're going to save that pet as well. One of the most important things you can do for good planning for your dog or cat is to make sure that you have identification on the dog or cat on a secure collar. Just about every municipality and county within the United States requires some kind of tag that the county issues to help identify your pet and protect it if it becomes lost. So that's step number one, an extremely important step. If your pet has a microchip, you need to be sure that the microchip is registered to your current phone and your current address. So you want to check on that as well. Keeping your pet and your family at home is a great option if there's no mandatory evacuation. So you have to listen to your local authorities, and whatever they decide should be done is what you need to do. But if you can stay in your home, you need to think about it ahead of time, not during the storm. And one of the main things you need to think about is twofold. One, if you have a dog, where in the house can you take your dog so he can go to the bathroom? Oftentimes during a storm, you can't get outside, let alone walk a dog. So you need to think in those terms. So plan ahead, whether it's a garage, whether it's a bathroom, a kitchen area, where you can comfortably set your dog up so he can go inside of your home. Beyond that, you need to do some pre-planning, and that includes what we call a pet survival kit. It's just basically a plastic waterproof container with a solid lid, and you're going to just put some items in there that you will need, such as newspaper and cleaning products. If your dog or cat goes into the bathroom in the house, you need to clean up after it. Newspaper helps. Puppy pads are also helpful, and some kind of disinfectant to clean. Another thing would be extra towels that you can have on hand, particularly if you're keeping your dog or cat in a carrier. This is always good to help. But most importantly, you need to be sure you have enough food stored ahead of time. Go to the store when you can and stock up on food, whether it's kibble or canned items. And if you buy canned items, make sure they have the pop-top lid, or you have your can opener on board inside your pet survival kit. There's nothing worse than being inside with no can opener, even for yourself, for canned foods that you may need. Your pet survival kit should also include some very important information on your pet. And you should have that information here in some kind of plastic waterproof bag. And the information is going to include such things as pictures of your pet, as well as your pet's medical records. You should have a picture of your pet by himself in case you need to make a lost pet flyer, and then also have a picture of your pet with you so that you can come and claim your pet. This is good proof of identification that indeed this is your dog or cat. Vet medical records are also very important because that also helps identify your pet. And sometimes this is all the documentation you have regarding your pet's vaccinations, any medical procedures it may have had. So you want to secure these items and make sure they don't get wet or lost as part of the storm process. Another thing you should think about, if your pet is on daily medication, make sure you get extra medication ahead of time, ahead of a storm, so that you're not running out of it if you can't get out of your house in a timely manner. Unfortunately, throughout the United States, sometimes a disaster means that you do need to leave home for a variety of reasons, safety in particular. And give that some thought ahead of time as well. If you had to leave your home, where would you go? Relatives in another state or another part of the state? Would you go to a hotel? Would you go to a friend or family's home? Or would you board your pets, maybe leaving them somewhere in a kennel type situation and then come back to them after the storm? These things you need to think about ahead of time and make your travel plans early. If you do plan to board your pet, you need to make those reservations early, find out how much it would cost and what their requirements are. Another thing you need to look at is online. There's no shortage of websites that give plenty of pet-friendly hotels, because obviously you can't just show up at a hotel with your pet if they don't allow pets. Another option in many communities is a pet-friendly shelter. Basically, it's a school in the community that is going to be used as a shelter that will allow pets. You need to find out ahead of time what the requirements are, and many of them require that the pet have all of its vaccinations and its local registration, so you need to find out those requirements ahead of time and make reservations as necessary. Bottom line, preparation is key. Do take the time before fire, flood, any kind of disaster that may come your way to give it some thought. Protect your pets, because after all, they are part of your family. A good solid pet survival kit. Do a little research online to see what your options are if you do have to leave home. The more you do ahead of time, the better it's going to be if disaster does hit.
If you'd like to help support Take Paws through sponsorship or by making a donation, call 754-321-1000 or go to BECON-TV.